Hey everybody, did you know that the money, the cash in your pocket is actually energy? So are your credit cards. Meaning, let's just say at the holiday time, you actually decide that you're going to spend all this money for the holidays and then think about it. Most often, so many people in January have what we call a spending hangover. Why is that? Because money is energy, and if you don't have the money, which you've energized into buying all these gifts, that you now in January have to pay for, that you don't have the money in the bank to actually pay for it, you've now created this thing that I call your financial past, which is your debt, which gives you a lack of freedom in your life. And when we start to realize that money is energy, and you can actually put yourself to the test on this one. I dare you actually to take $100 bill. Yeah, good old Benjamin Franklin. I want you to go to the bank, get a $100 bill. And you know what, honestly, I don't even care if it's a 50 or 20. I just find that hundreds and 50s are better to do with because they're more unique than actual 20 or a 10. But put it in your wallet. And under absolutely no circumstances do I want you to spend that $100 bill. Why would I have you do that? Well, I would actually have you do that because of the fact that what it does is at some juncture, you're going to be at some point where Benjamin is going to start talking to you, right? Because he's going to like, spend me, come on, do this. And this is where you are really going to recognize the energy of money because it's energized within itself by the emotions that we bring to the table. And so if you feel like you have a lack of money, then you're like jonesing like a crack addict to like spend it because you're like, well, I have the cash. Why can I not do it? So just know that most often people wind up spending the $100 bill eventually because you're building this muscle to actually learn to hold the energy of money in abundance as opposed to holding money in a state of scarcity. So when we come from communities and households that we grew up in where there was any financial struggle or if there was debt or job layoffs, anything of that nature, or parents fought about money, this hardwires our subconscious brain into that the energy of money is that of being a victim and that of being scarcity. And this is about shifting many of us, and this is also why we create debt with it, because we stay in this scarcity suffering cycle with our money. And I don't care if you're a dreamer, a debtor, an accumulator, or rich but empty. Most of us have some level of debt, which creates a lack of freedom in your life. So when we're looking at that positive or negative energy that we have from a debt structure perspective, it really can impact how the decisions you are making today for the next right step for you in your life. So this is about when you start to understand the energy of money and you start to understand that that energy comes from your emotions that are feeding the energy of it. Is it positive, which means it's growing and it's amplifying and you're getting more opportunities and pay raises and inheritance and tax returns, things of that nature? And so you're coming from an empowered state, an abundant state, versus the opposite. Is money falling away from you? Is it always a challenge? Is it like a seesaw event? It's coming and it's going, it's coming and it's going, and you can never, that means on some level, you're operating from a scarcity perspective with the energy of money, and it all has to do with how you feel about money, not from our conscious mind, but from our subconscious mind, because we all have two engines that are operating our brain, the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. In the book, The Biology of Belief by Dr. Bruce Lipton, he talks about the fact that 97% of our experience in the world and how we react comes from our subconscious mind, which is fully wired by the time we're 7 years old. Interesting, eh? If you think about that, well, consciously, we wouldn't want to create all this debt. Consciously, we don't want to struggle with having a job that we love or getting laid off. Like we wouldn't intentionally create that. So we have to understand what's the engine that is driving the train. And you can either choose to have a train wreck or a bullet speed fast train that leads to lots of abundance and an empowered state versus the scarcity and the victim side. debt versus accumulated wealth. And our cash flows are right here in the middle, right in the flow, right in the present moment. So remember, it's important for you to consider what is your energy of money that you are bringing to the table, because that is creating your tomorrow. See you soon.